decided to come and do a video because some of you will not know that in December of 2020, amidst all of the pandemic and all of the things that were going on, I lost my son. I lost my son, Vaughndrew Williams, to sickle cell anemia. A long, hard fought battle. And I know you see my videos and you may think, well, she's doing well and she's gotten over it really well. But I have my moments where I have complete breakdowns when I remember him and what I've lost. And like the fact that he won't be here for any other holiday. He'll never be a part of any of our family photos again. And how much I miss him, just like how much I miss him. And I guess the reason I want to do the video is because two thoughts. Number one, I just came off this really high moment where I'm telling you things that matter to me. And I know after you have a big high like that, sometimes you can have extreme lows, especially when you're trauma. You have trauma in the past, and also when you're battling against the enemy of your soul who likes to drop thoughts, like I talked about in my other video, into your head that make you go in ways that take you off your positive path. So that could have happened to me, but I was watching a show, and the person in the show's wife pulled through this traumatic event in the hospital, and I thought to myself, gosh, how I wish my son would have pulled through like he had done so many times before. I don't tell a lot of people this, but I'll tell you that, during my prayer and meditation many years ago, God had already told me that my son was going to pass when he was 29 years old. And even though I knew that, and I know God to be true, I wasn't prepared. And I was hoping that I had heard wrong. But on the morning that he passed, I woke up and I was watching this show called The Midwife. And everything in that show was about death, like a whole funeral and how people prepared for it. And I'm watching the show and I'm thinking to myself, it's December in his 29th year. And I'm thinking, no, please, not today. God, not today, Although I know it's December and his birthday is, still don't know how to say was or is, January 20th. And so I was thinking that morning, please don't do this. But I'm also seeing all of the telltale signs. And that's how God is, very gentle in that way. And so I went upstairs, I washed my face, and I got an upload from God. He's like, he told me I'm going to take Vaughndrew today. And again, I'm like, please don't do this. Begging, please, God, don't do it. But also recognizing the gentle and beautiful way that my Father is preparing me for one of the worst days of my life. He told me many years ago, I knew, there was a couple of times when I went to the hospital and I could see the look on Vaughndrew's face, and everything in my soul was telling me that he wasn't going to pull through. And of course I couldn't, tell my family that. I had to keep telling them that, keep hope alive and keep praying. But I knew, and so I made time excuse me, for each one of them to go up and visit. Like I gave up my time. He was in the ICU, and so you could only visit one person could visit 1 hour a day, which was also a blessing from God. Because again, this was during COVID, and like people weren't even being able to see their loved ones, and like God made a way so that my family could go up 1 hour a day every day. And so his brother came down from LA, and I allowed him to go, his sister to go, his dad to go, and so that they could have their final time with him. And then the day, it was December 5th, I went up to the hospital and my son was awake. He had come out of another coma, and he was he couldn't talk because he had a breathing tube in, but he could point to the letters on the paper and he could spell things out. And so one of the things he was trying to spell out to me was that he wanted me to bring his glasses, but he wanted to type it on my phone, but his fingers wouldn't allow him to like type the right letters. So I had the nurse print out a piece of paper with the alphabet on it so that he could point to it and spell it out. But he didn't want to do that. Like, he was so stubborn. He kept saying, "Give me your phone. Like, I want to do it like this." And I'm like, "Son, just point to the paper." And he's like, "No, I want the phone." But he couldn't get the words to go. And I was just like, he's so stubborn. Like, he wants to do it his way. And finally, I had my glasses on. So he says, "Come here, Mom. Like, come to me." So I lean down and he like pops my glasses. Like, "Bring my glasses." Because he couldn't see without his glasses. And I think he was like, "I can't see the paper, but I know where to go on the keypad." So I was like, "Oh, you want me to bring your glasses? Okay." So the next day I brought the glasses, but I also had the nurse print out the paper. And he spelled out on the paper, Jesus, I'm going to lose it. He spelled out, "I love my mom," with the alphabet letters. And I just knew that was him saying, goodbye to me. And so I looked at him and I said, "Son, it's okay." I didn't mean it, but I knew that if I didn't say it, he wouldn't let go. He would fight. And I could see he was so tired. And so I just said, "It was okay, son, you can go." And I'll see you soon. Because I do believe that when the spirit leaves this earth, we don't die. Like, we're energy. So how could we die? Energy just transforms. It can't be destroyed. That's scientific, right? And of course, I believe that my son is now with our Father in heaven, and that he's very much alive. And I still talk to him on a daily basis, you know, just like I talk to God. I would never tell anybody that who has just lost a loved one, because when someone was trying to tell me that when I lost him, uh, I couldn't hear it because the pain is too much. And even now, there are moments when I understand it, but I don't want to hear it because I just feel the loss too deeply. In moments like this, I don't want to hear it. I just want my son back. Just want him back. I want to hold him. His human body. I want to hug him. I want to hear his laugh. So, just want you to know that this struggle is very real for me. But I feel like the work that I'm doing is so important that I just fight through it. I fight through the moments. I have moments like this, and then I recuperate. And I have very high moments where I can get my message out to people and hope that they hear what I'm saying, you know, and hope that I'm coming across in a language that is love and that is dripping with compassion. I don't want to ever sound condescending. I don't ever want to sound like I know everything. I just want to tell you what I've learned and what I think, and hopefully it resonates and it changes somebody's life, even one person's life. I don't know where this will go. I'm just doing it. But I want to say also to the mothers and parents and people out there who have lost a loved one, there's no right way to do this. If you're still crying a year, 2 years, 4 years later, there's no right way to do this. If you're up and down, if your beliefs fall apart, there's no right way to do it. Just wake up every morning and get through the next moment. And that's all that you can do. And if you need to cry, cry. If you need to fall apart, fall apart. And then pull yourself back together and try to make the best of what you have left, and know that your loved one is somewhere. Their bodies may not be here with you, but their soul is somewhere. And it's also my belief that you will always be connected with that person. Like me and my son will always be together. Uh, Even when I leave this life, we will reunite and we'll be together. And that's where my hope lies, that I will see him again. And we will share times again. There are things, there's a hole in my life that nobody will be able to fill. And yes, I have other children and I love them. But what I experienced with my little boy, I will not be able to replicate with anybody else. 29 years of caring for him, 29 years of hospital visits. Whenever he was in the hospital, I was in the hospital too, by his side. And we had our inside jokes. We rate our Pixar movies. We know that we can't put Pixar movies and Disney movies together, even though it is Disney, because Pixar does things a certain way. And we don't put the animated um, Disney movies along with um, the ones that are drawn. Those are things that he and I understand. And I tried to do that with somebody else, and they're like trying to lump everything together. And I just thought he and I had our own inside language and our own understandings that will never be replaced. So don't ever think that anybody can replace the person that you've lost. But know that you can still share the love that you have left with those who are still here. And that one day you will be able to reunite with the person that you lost and continue to make memories. So I just thought, if I'm going to be real and talking to my audience like they're friends, then this is part of it. So thank you for listening to me through all my sniffing and snuggering. Thanks. Peace.